Hester inside the 30. Hester's going to take it all the way for a touchdown.
Fields stumbling, trying to cut it back. Justin Fields making magic happen. There goes Fields. Touchdown!
Hurts on first down, fires downfield. It's Deshaun Jackson back in the lineup. This is the last 7 games, and he will take it 81 yards. A somersault into the end zone. His first touchdown of the season.
You're listening to the Pigskin Project, the world's #1 football podcast. Now, with more insights on all things football, here are your hosts, Ben Hansen and Ryan Matthews.
Oh.
buddy.
Not very good at this, guys.
Here we go.
There it is. See,
overlay, just like
that's
that.
That's why he does the technical producing stuff. But as you guys can see, he's not in his normal background. He's off doing other things, taking care of stuff. So I'm going to be manning the ship a little bit more for you guys today. And for that reason, we have a guest that has been on the podcast numerous times. You guys know him. You'll love him. But before we add him, Ryan, how are you doing this week?
It's been a rough week. Lots of family stuff. I had my first big death in the family. He's doing good though. I mean, he's in a better place now. Couldn't have asked for a better way, I guess, for some of my family member or a family member to go. He passed away peacefully on Sunday morning, in his home, just in his sleep. So can't ask for anything more. But I mean, it was good. Today was everything. So, I mean, it was pretty bad, but it was pretty good at the same time because, I mean, the turnout was great. Didn't know if I was going to be able to make it this week as far as the show goes. So, finding out that there's a kind of flexibility with that in scheduling and everything like that was really good. And having Matt on the show as well, that's, coming up, was also a big kind of sigh of relief for me, just because he's a bit of a backboard when it comes to the show. He's really reliable in that, so I can't thank him enough. So why don't we bring him in?
Yeah. Oh.
Hello, gentlemen.
Yo.
Hey, how you doing, Matt? How's your week been?
How's my week been? It's been pretty, uneventful. Went to work, played some basketball today, and then I just got home 9:30? I probably got home 20 minutes ago from up your alley. If you've ever been there,
yes,
fun place.
Cherville, is that where it is?
Yeah, good company, But
yes.
Yeah,
Tons
so
of fun, by the way.
I'm just and it's a ton of money. But
Yeah.
with that being said, I'm just ready to talk ball with you, Ben, and you, Ryan. Let's get into it. Come on.
Yeah, heck yeah. No,
Stop boring
yeah,
me.
no. Hey, real quick, yeah, no. I first day of my job, I ref sports. Rolled my ankle, been screaming a lot of kids. So I got my nice herbal tea right here. Absolutely delicious. But yeah, let's get into the weekly review. Heck yeah.
Ryan and Ben bring you weekly news.
Yeah. So there hasn't been too much around the NFL. There's been a few trades, a few signings that we kind of expected to see. Most notably, Laramie Tunsil becoming the highest paid offensive lineman again. 3 years, $75 million. You guys have anything to say about that?
I mean, I'm a little bummed out that the Bears couldn't make a move for him, but hey, more the merrier, I guess, for all the linemen that the Bears are losing out on.
Yeah, I honestly expected for him to get moved. There was a lot of chatter before the Chiefs signed Juwan Taylor that he was going to get traded there, and that would have been a very scary fit, and I would not have liked that. In other news, I did shed a tear for one of my favorite players, in Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. He signed a one-year $8 million deal with the Lions, which is a good fit for him. He said he wanted to play for a nice, scrappy young team. But I think I finally, near the last few days before he got signed, I think I finally fell in place with the Saints fan. And I was kind of just fed up with everything he tweeted all over social media. He tweet and delete. He's the king of the tweet and delete. And he gets mad that the fans switched up on him, is what he said. But I mean, you were the one that switched teams, so I'm sure Matt knows exactly how I'm feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to see what the comp pick is for him because that was it was like compensatory fifth, I think it was, for a trade with him. So I mean, it still is in effect with the Saints, but yeah, I mean, it makes way too much sense. Aaron Glenn comes from New Orleans as the former defensive backs coach. Dan Campbell, of course, the former assistant head coach and tight ends coach of the Saints. So it just makes way too much sense. And I don't know about you guys. I was shocked in the market for him. I feel like he is a very good player that I think getting a $6 million with, is it incentives to get 8? Or is it
It's
straight
base
up?
6. It's base
Yeah.
8, $6 million guaranteed.
Yeah, that just
Most
felt
definitely a
screwy.
prove it deal.
Yeah, and maybe that's what he wanted. Maybe he wants to be able to make the money Jesse Bates made by having a standout season with a great defense in the Lions. That's a weird sentence, but is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, from the Eagles side of it, the whole thing was that he got. I think it was like at one point he was offered like 3 years, $12 million by the Eagles, like before the free agent or before the tag period even ended. But he like turned it down because his agent is not very good at his job, and his agent overvalued what Chauncey was going to get in the open market, and then he ended up with a 1 year, $8 million. Like you said, hopefully it's a prove it deal, and he ends up making a little bit more money than that. But next year's free agency for safety class is a very good one. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. So, and then we saw 2 more trades go down. This one I think was a little bit bigger than the trade that they made last week. But the Cowboys ended up trading a 5th-round pick this year and a 6th-round pick next year to get Brandon Cooks, who has proven to be like a very, very high-end wide receiver 2/lower-end wide receiver 1. I think him paired along CeeDee Lamb is going to be a very scary offense, and hopefully is exactly what Dak needs.
I think that it's a good fit for sure. But something that a lot of people aren't talking about is, DeAndre Hopkins is another name to watch on the trade block. And something that is being talked about at the moment is his potential value surrounding just the trade talks and everything, and what the open market is kind of scaling it on. We're seeing more and more wide receivers go back to the normal. I put that in quotations. Normal, market value compared to last year's with Christian Kirk and everything. And with that being said, we've also got somebody who I'm sure that we'll talk about later on that's coming up in the draft, who's putting up pretty solid numbers as well at his pro day today, as well as the combine. So you're looking at younger players and everything that have those high-end prospect grades and everything, and seeing how old DeAndre Hopkins is and his previous injury history, and just overall, I mean, he's still a great receiver. But I am hearing that you're looking at maybe 5th to 6th round as well, accompanied with like a 2nd or 3rd. So it's not just going to be a 2nd or 3rd by themselves. You're looking at 5th and 6th. For Brandon Cooks, the main thing about him was the contract. I mean, it wasn't really a great contract for somebody who wasn't really putting up fantastic numbers per se, but also he wasn't in the greatest of situations. So ultimately, I think when it comes to Brandon Cooks, you're getting somebody who needed to get out of the situation, and ultimately it benefited both sides, because I think that this is the most that you can get out of him with the current market.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I mean, we saw at the end of the season, I think he stepped away from the team for like 2 or 3 weeks. He like asked for a trade before the trade deadline. So it seemed like it was something inevitable. But yeah, you touched on a really interesting point there about D-Hop. Like you said, it's really going to be interesting to see what his value is. I think with his age, like you said, I think he probably goes for a 2nd-round pick. But there has been a lot of buzz about him getting traded probably within the next 2 or 3 days. So, but I mean, if anyone would understand how underrated of a wide receiver Brandon Cooks could be for your team, it's Matt, because Matt got to watch him for what, he was 3 years with the Saints, or was it 2?
Yeah, it was 3 years. It was 3 years, yeah.
So, I mean, he's a
Yeah.
dynamic weapon.
We
Yep.
traded him for Ryan Ramczyk, yeah. But I tweeted a little bit about this, like when I first saw it. Like I really like it for the Cowboys. I think bringing in someone who is a proven field stretcher in an offense. I think what people forget last year is like, oh, they traded Amari Cooper, so basically they're trading Brandon Cooks for Amari Cooper. It's not like Madden. It's not that straight answer like, oh, I want Brandon Cooks more than Amari Cooper. I feel like everyone would want Amari Cooper more. They say there were some personality issues in the locker room and things like that, but I think they wanted to put more on Michael Gallup's plate. And coming off a torn ACL, that was just not what happened. And so I think they noticed, hey, we need a second guy. Like looking at that second half against the Niners, it was CeeDee Lamb and no one else. So I think this is a great move, and you don't have to take a shot on an unproven rookie at 26. Gives you more luxury to do whatever you want, So I thought this was a very good deal and move for a cheap, 5th round pick.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, I mean, they took the route of trying to draft that rookie wide receiver and see if he could step into that role with Jalen Tolbert last year. And Jalen Tolbert didn't do much. So I don't know. But in other news, another wide receiver was traded. The trade actually happened just a few hours ago. It's a trade that I wish my Eagles could have done, even though we don't really need wide receivers. But the Browns trade away a second-round pick to the Jets. And in return, they get the Jets' third-round pick this year and Elijah Moore. If you're the Browns, it's an absolute no-brainer. Now you compare Amari Cooper with Elijah Moore, who had a little bit of a more disappointing season this year, but look at who his quarterback was. And I think, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up becoming that player we would have hoped this year. I'm a big fan of Elijah Moore, and honestly, I'm surprised one of your teams didn't do it either. So,
yeah. I think one of the things that we need to talk about as well regarding this trade is how much this might affect the Jerry Jeudy trade rumors as well, because the Browns were in on Jerry Jeudy for a lot of time. And then just seeing that Elijah Moore became available once again, the Browns hopped on it and immediately made the move. It was, like you said, an absolute no-brainer, but if you're a Browns fan, it's definitely underwhelming. 10 times out of 10 would rather have Jerry Jeudy over Elijah Moore. But I mean, looking at Elijah Moore, you're looking at another, disgruntled wide receiver that wanted out of the situation. Not entirely sure why as of last year, but this year especially, you're looking at bringing in a new quarterback in New York and giving him the receivers that he'd like as well. Which, by the way, I just want to say the Jets have all the leverage in the world right now for that. I'm sure we can probably either expand on that either today or in a later episode as well if it doesn't happen by next week. But regarding Elijah Moore and potentially Jerry Jeudy, looking at Elijah Moore and his fit in Cleveland, they really like those speedy wide receivers and everything, and I think that he'll fit in right alongside Amari Cooper. But another thing that I don't think that people are talking about enough is how much this matters for Deshaun Watson and his growth on the team as well. He had a very underwhelming season, especially, I mean, just looking at him, for that almost fully guaranteed contract, or is it fully guaranteed? I'm not entirely sure. You're paying him a lot of money over the last few years, and for him to be putting up the numbers that he did last season, not going to be enough. So ultimately, you're wanting to do as much as you can to help that quarterback that you just traded multiple first-round picks for, just to blossom and hopefully become the quarterback that he either once was or is going to be. So hopefully Elijah Moore can help him blossom to that point. I know we've made a lot of points about Deshaun Watson on the podcast that make it seem like we're rooting against him and everything. And, I completely understand why somebody would want to. But ultimately, as a football fan and a looking at it from an analyst point of view, you definitely want to see growth from a team that hasn't seen it in recent memory.
Yeah. So I mean, right alongside that was the Mecole Hardman signing. They signed him. I think it was like a 1-year contract. I could be wrong. I don't know the details on that. The Jets signed him, which makes sense that they completely, they said, hey, we don't need, not that they play a similar type of ball, but they said, we don't need 2 of these smaller wide receivers on our team. So why not at least get something out of it? And I think now that means the Jets own 42 and 43. I know it's mid to early picks right after each other. It's wild for them. So
I do want to note, regarding that Mecole Hardman signing, it fits right into that speedy, but also I want to say he's a little bit bigger. I want to say he's about 5'11". So I mean, he's not huge per se, but he's a little bit bigger than some wide receivers. And so Mecole Hardman being that option for Aaron Rodgers next season, because it inevitably will happen. That fits right in, and it's a little bit of a downgrade from where he was in Kansas City, in my opinion. But I think that it's fitting in the role of, say, Equinemius St. Brown when he was in Green Bay. When you look at this wide receiver core for what it is at the moment and what it can be, especially with that rookie of the year that they had, or offensive rookie of the year that they have right now, that paired with Alan Lazard. I mean, that's going to be a good wide receiver core, and it's kind of underrated, in my opinion.
Yeah. Matt?
Yeah, I think this, from the Jets' perspective, I think getting rid of Elijah Moore and immediately replacing him with Mecole Hardman, and then the Alan Lazard kind of replacing Corey Davis, which seems to be inevitable that he's going to be cut. This was the Jets trying to recoup as much draft capital at the top as they can, because I think they are expecting to part with the 13th overall pick to get Aaron Rodgers. I think I've said it since the beginning. This feels like them cushioning the blow, and they go, hey, Elijah Moore's maybe the wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 on our depth chart. We can take his production and put it in Mecole Hardman, is kind of what my thought is, and let's go get a second round pick for him. And then from the Browns' perspective, this is them continuing to go all in. They signed, who was it, Dalvin Tomlinson, the guy from the Texans, I can't pronounce his name. And so now they get, they brought back Anthony Walker too. So I think they're just kind of running it back while they have Watson and trying to make it work. I mean, hopefully they're crossing their fingers going that last year was not who he is now, but maybe it is. I don't know. The guy didn't play football for 500 days and had a lot of off the field legal issues. So I don't know. But I like the trade from both sides. It makes sense from both sides, and we'll see how it all ends up for both sides.
Yeah, no, and I completely agree. And then to to segue into a point that Ryan was talking about in this conversation that we kind of had on the podcast last week. So I'd love to get your opinion on that. But I noticed that you said something about how you're surprised that Corey Davis is even here and he's expected to get cut soon. But honestly, I guess the reason he's probably hasn't been traded is because he's probably going to be a part of that Aaron Rodgers trade. What's your opinion on that, Matt? Why do you think it's taken so long? Why the heck do the Packers believe that they have leverage? And really, is it even worth the Jets to even make this trade at this point?
They want to maximize the value of their guy. I think that's it. They know what the max value of Aaron Rodgers is. They know what the maximum production of Aaron Rodgers can be, and that's back-to-back MVPs. So I think they're going, we're not, you're not paying for 2022 production. You're also paying for that 2020, 2021 Rodgers, because that was him at his best. And so I think that's really what we're at, is both sides are just trying to meet in a middle ground, and they can't do it, because I think the Packers are going, well, we value him at this price. And the Jets are going, well, he's not at that price anymore because the money won't work. His age won't work. It's just, it's a butting, like, back and forth, butting heads situation. It will get done. It will get done. The player wants to be there. The Packers, I don't want to say don't want him around, but they want to draft people this year, right? I don't want to wait a whole more year of, I want to get those players in the building now, personally. So we'll see when it happens. It will happen, but today is not the day. We got a month till the draft, so
Yeah.
is it going to happen? It will happen.
And again, I want to emphasize, like you said, it's gonna happen at some point. But place yourself in the Jets' shoes, for example. If you're Joe Douglas and you are trying to trade for Aaron Rodgers, and they said the only way this will get done, is if you give us a first this year and your third this year or something like that. At that point, why would you not try to move your needle even further as a team and then just give up the 2 first-round picks for Lamar Jackson?
I think it's just hard to negotiate with Lamar. I do.
Yeah.
I think with so many teams who need a quarterback coming out and going, we don't even want to negotiate with him. We don't even want to try. Just sounds like it's an issue itself. But I think they maybe think they get a higher ceiling with Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. I think they're thinking of this year and only this year. I think that's the way Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh should be thinking, because if those guys don't make the playoffs realistically, even though the division is loaded, those guys are on the hot seat, in my opinion. And so I think both of them are just thinking about 2023, and in their minds, Aaron Rodgers gives them the better opportunity in 2023 than Lamar Jackson does, and the situation Lamar, there's no guarantee you get Lamar too, has been my thing, is that you can negotiate with him and find a middle ground, whatever that may be. The Ravens get 4 or 5 days to match whatever you offer. And so there's no guarantee you get the guy, where with Aaron Rodgers, he comes out on the biggest sports podcast in the world in front of 500,000 people and says, I want to play for the Jets. I was also in the darkness. And I said that he was 90% retired. That's BS. That's another leverage tactic going.
Yeah.
I'll just quit on Green Bay.
Let me just explain to you why the Jets don't want Lamar Jackson. Okay, they've got $10 million in cap space this year. They've got $80 million in next year. Okay, let's face it, Lamar Jackson wants a huge chunk of that, and Aaron Rodgers might not be around for much longer. Not only that, you're way too committed to Aaron Rodgers. It's gonna happen. Everybody knows it.
Yeah.
Aaron wants to be a Jet. They have the leverage because Aaron wants to be a Jet. It's either Aaron's a Jet and he's going to retire, or he's going to retire as a Packer.
In spite of Green Bay.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's the thing. The bridge has burned in Green Bay. If they had told him, look, I'm sorry, we're going to move on. It's just time. He already said it on the Pat McAfee show. He was willing to just step away and just retire. But now he's totally the type to just be like, hey, I'm going to make it awkward for you guys if you don't get this done. Either that, I'm gonna make it really awkward for your rookie quarterback, which I'm still considering a rookie, considering he has close to nothing in pro experience. Or I'm just gonna retire and I'm gonna take all of your money. Like, that's it. And so you look at the Jets and you're like, okay, Lamar Jackson's available. Like, why don't they go after him? It's not just about the cap situation, though. You don't just sign Nathaniel Hackett as your offensive coordinator just because he's Nathaniel Hackett. You sign him because you want Aaron Rodgers. You don't just sign Alan Lazard without thinking, I have Nathaniel Hackett and I'm going to get Aaron Rodgers. You don't just go ahead and target the guys that he wants. And then you don't just, there's too much that's allotted towards the potential move. And it's going to happen. It's going to. The Packers, they just find themselves in a very difficult situation, which we all knew was going to happen at some point. We talked about it just last year, how much the Packers screwed themselves over with the money. And now they're seeing what happens. You pay an old man that much money. He's 90% away from, just stepping away from the game. The Jets talked him out of it. You're lucky that he got that far. Like, at the end of the day, this guy didn't put up that crazy amount of numbers and anything like that in 2022. You can wage him, or put him on the scale for 2020 and 2021, but at the end of the day, he's not the quarterback that he used to be without Devontae Adams. So if you look at it from Green Bay's point of view, absolutely you want to maximize his value. But there's only one team that's interested. Really. You want to know why? Because Aaron Rodgers told you that he wanted to play for your team. Any other team's like, all right, we're out. Like, at the end of the day, we're not giving up a first-round pick. You're lucky if we get up a second. We can give you a third and maybe a fifth, and you're going to take it and you're going to like it, or you're going to take the $60 million cap hit and end up with nothing over the last course of the years and end up in last place in the NFC North. Like, completely up to you. At the end of the day, what I think is going to happen is they're going to take a lot less than they bargained for, and they're going to be eating. If I can see them maybe pulling like a second, let's say a second and a fourth, if Green Bay eats the cap. That's really it. That's the maximum value that you're going to get out of a two-time MVP because you screwed up. That's it. So it makes me happy as a Bears fan, but at the end of the day, as a football analyst, this is exactly what's going on.
Yes. Well, I think if the Packers end up eating most of the cap from Aaron Rodgers, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a first-round pick. But I think if the Jets end up paying most of that contract, it'll probably end up being a second-round pick for him. But then, again, we're talking about Lamar. One interesting thing, and obviously betting odds aren't the end all be all. Both Lamar, I think obviously the highest betting odd favorite is the Ravens, which makes sense. But then the two that really stood out to me that I don't think we're talking enough about is I'm pretty sure the Titans were betting odd favorite number 2. And I think the Falcons were all the way down there at the bottom at like 7, which is wild to me. And I think that kind of shows that we need to, even though the Titans did spend a draft pick on Malik Willis this past year, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up trying to at least make a move to get one of these top 4 guys. But then again, I'm also surprised that the Falcons, after everything we saw with aforementioned Deshaun Watson last year, I'm surprised the Falcons aren't trying to at least hop in on getting this Lamar stuff done. And maybe Arthur Smith is trying to stick with Desmond Ridder and say Desmond Ridder's my guy, but I don't know. We haven't seen enough from Desmond Ridder to say he is or not, but that being said, I wouldn't let Desmond Ridder hold me back from trading for a talent like Lamar Jackson.
I'm looking at the Titans for somebody who can potentially move for like Will Levis, for example. I would absolutely love that, especially because I just think that would be a good fit personally. If you were able to get somebody in the second or third round to kind of mesh with that, as far as wide receiver talent goes, because God knows that the Titans need it. But something that's really, really good when you have a rookie quarterback that's trying to grow is having a backup plan and a great running back, and the Titans have that. They have the number 11 pick, which in my opinion, call me crazy, but I think Levis might still be there. I think that I don't know. I think 11 is really easily the range. It's a fringe top 10 draft pick for Levis. So, for the Titans to be in the mix for Lamar, good on them, I guess. I wouldn't put money on it though. I still love the Falcons as a fit. I really do. But they have Kyle Pitts, and you have that tight end for Lamar. I don't know. It's something to think about for sure. But as far as the Titans go, I just don't see them doing it, despite what all the sports books might have to say.
Yeah.
I don't know, Matt. What are you thinking?
I think he's just gonna end up playing on the tag. I don't think he's gonna find anything.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna find the deal he's looking for, and I think he's gonna go. Let me go one more year of prove it, Lamar. They'll get me a receiver crossing his fingers, at 22, and we'll go from there because I think he doesn't have an agent. So every media sourced report is from Baltimore. And when all you keep hearing is that he wants the Deshaun Watson deal, the Deshaun Watson deal is influencing what he wants, he's just not going to find it. I don't. It sucks because Lamar is a guy who has proven more than Deshaun Watson, who quite possibly at this point in time is better than Deshaun Watson. I'm not going to argue peaks right now, but I think that he's going, well, look at that guy. He had nothing. He had everything off the field, and I have nothing off the field. So I think he's going to keep pushing for it, and no one's going to give it to him, and Baltimore's going to go, well, come on back. Because the thing about Baltimore is they know they are one of the most analytically sound football teams out there. They know, if we know it, they know Lamar Jackson is worth more than 2 first-round picks. I mean, come on. I think they're going, the market will sort you out. Go find a deal. If you can find a deal, we'll match it, and you can come back to the Ravens. Every time me and you talk, it ends badly, and it doesn't feel like it's completely gone. Like, remember when Kirk Cousins signed away? I thought of it like this. That bridge was burned. They couldn't sit in the same room as each other, and I'm talking about Cousins in Washington. Lamar in Baltimore seems like it's still together. I feel like they're both still, I don't want to say on the same page, but I feel like I'm just rambling on right now, but long story short, he's going to play on the tag. He's going to not leave without his value, and he'll be a Raven, personally.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're describing exactly kind of like going, like the Ravens saying, you go out, find your deal, and we'll match it. And obviously not to the same extent. And it's something I haven't thought about before you said that. But it reminds me exactly what happened with Darius Slay on a way lesser level, obviously. But that's exactly what happened. The Eagles said, we don't believe you're worth this much money. Go out and find your deal. And that's why they released him. And then he said, oh, shoot, I'm not worth as much as I thought. I wanted this deal. And people aren't going to give it to me. So I might as well resign, still take good money, and resign with the team.
Really good. I want to know what he was looking for.
Yeah.
Jalen Ramsey money? Like,
I don't know. Yes, he did. No, but with all that quarterback talk, I think it is time for us to kind of fight for our guys, fight for our opinions. And I want to do a little bit of quarterback tier rankings here with you guys. I obviously, I think we can all agree that
dear God. Oh, we're gonna fight.
Buddy Patrick Mahomes.
You need to make another tier.
Yeah,
I think you need to make a Patrick Mahomes tier.
Yeah,
because he's on a different planet than everyone else.
Yeah. Yes. No, I completely agree.
We're starting hot.
Yeah, right. I think everyone in the world agrees that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. And if you don't, I don't know if we're watching football. The same sport. Yeah, but this is now where it gets interesting, boys. QB2. I wonder if we're all in agreement on this. I think we're all on the same page. Joey B's my number 2 guy. But I know the guy right next to him here on this list, and Josh Allen, is people's favorites.
Don't even no. It's Joe Burrow for right now, but Jalen Hurts is creeping up on that number 2 right now.
You think so?
I think so, absolutely. I think that they're in the same tier at least, because this isn't 1 through 10. This is S tier through D tier. For those of you that are listening, for somebody who's not listening, we're ranking them S, A, B, C, and D. So S is the best. Don't know why that's a thing, but if you haven't seen a ranking like this is
S is the best.
Perfect. And Patrick
I
Mahomes
do
is our only S.
Well, see, and that's what I'm saying. I do want to note that Patrick Mahomes, I think, is on his own tier. That being said, I do think there's S tier quarterbacks, and for the purpose of this list, I think we can put other S tier quarterbacks, just because we don't have enough tiers to fill all.
You
the
can
guys
make
in
another
A
tier.
What?
You can make another tier. If you go over to the right of the S, if you click the top arrow, I think it makes a new tier.
Nope.
No.
No.
Here's my
it just moved them. Oh.
Does this?
Oh, it adds a row.
Add a row.
Okay.
cool.
Oh,
well,
shoot.
here's my suggestion.
That, guys.
Oh, jeez. Here's my suggestion. Why don't we work from the bottom up? Because that'll eliminate a lot of people really easily.
That's fair.
Keep in mind, for everybody that's listening for the first time, we do everything ad lib, off the spur of the moment. We don't prep anything. So this is interesting.
Organic.
You guys see, you guys want to start from the bottom? I think it'd be easier starting from the top, moving down. There's a lot of guys.
Just going through
here.
one guy one by one. I thought that's
okay. Yeah. We can do one guy one by one then. And this is tough. How do we want to rank these as next season, this past season, or a little bit of both?
I'm very confused by the ranking system right now. We added another row and it says new, and I don't.
That's Patrick.
It's Mahomes' tier.
It's Mahomes' own tier.
Okay.
Make another one below D that's just backup, because I want to put Carson Wentz in the backup tier.
We'll put. Here's what we'll do. We'll do MVP.
Yeah. How about
right.
wait? Let's just keep it. D tier is just like D for dirtbag. I don't know. What do you want?
No, we can do a backup, because like someone like Drew Lock and stuff like
Davis
that.
Mills and things like that.
I think Mills does not belong in the backup tier, but we'll
not
get there.
A top 32 quarterback.
We'll get there. Aaron Rodgers, boys.
B tier.
I think he belongs in what?
He's an A.
B tier.
I say A. I thought you said D tier for a second. I'm like,
no.
Ryan,
backup.
He's in
bum.
I think he's in B. I mean, we can always adjust it later on too. Absolutely, just keep him right there. Yeah.
I
Jets are trading 2 first-round picks for a backup. Yep.
I think he goes in A tier, and I think depending on how the way the list shakes out, I think we can move him down to B. But I think it's 2v1, so I think A is probably the place where he belongs.
I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback right now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We'll see how the list rolls out and stuff. I mean, I'm not saying he has to be the front of A tier. I mean, he could be like the back of A tier here.
I'll take it for right now, just because we're gonna have to save a little bit of time for when we cross paths with Justin Fields, because that's gonna happen, and I'm gonna get really mad. All right,
backup.
Baker backup, Carson backup.
I think Baker's D. I was
gonna say Baker. I'm an advocate for.
Okay,
I don't look at Baker on the same level as Wentz. I think Baker showed some stuff last year where Wentz was awful.
That's fair. All right, yeah, we can move him up. I'm not a Baker guy, but I realize I'm already there.
He won a game in how many seconds? Like that guy.
Okay, see, and that's the issue. People see that one game and that's awesome, but come on now.
I'm not saying that it's a true difference maker thing, but I'm saying that it's better enough to be in front of Carson Wentz. Like that's just bad, man.
And then again, I think we take a little bit of and that's what I'm saying about these guys going in. The next few guys that we see, I think we take what they did last season and a little bit of this season. That being said, are we putting Dak in the same tier as Aaron Rodgers, or are we putting him in B tier?
I have my opinion. I think he's probably B.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'll say B, just because he's either really good or really bad. He's such a mid quarterback. I don't even know.
Are we going to be in agreement with this as well?
Yeah.
I haven't watched enough of him to make a serious debate about it yet, but I'm not a fan from what I've seen.
He's making $45 million a year, so
I think that's ridiculous.
Hey, Carson Wentz was getting $40 million. What was it, 40 or 30?
I think it was like 35.
Let me just say, I think this next quarterback deserves to be an S tier just because of what he's done for my team.
That's true.
I don't know.
You got DJ Moore.
I could see. I don't think it's talked enough about. We'll get into that, but like how one play like shook up the entire draft. That's why
It's great. Yeah,
But
we could
That was
definitely talk
lucky.
about
That was an
yeah.
inside job. He deserves a statue.
Dude, he heard my calls outside of Lucas Oil Stadium last
That's
year.
what it was.
Okay?
I love that it's in Lucas Oil too. It happened at Lucas Oil.
Yeah, he knew.
He heard
He
the
knew.
ghost of Ryan.
He heard my beautiful voice ringing from the outside all the way back from March of last year. And he was like,
That
"Yep,
kid, the first
this
overall
is for
pick.
you, kid. This is for you."
Lovey.
Yeah, love it.
That being said, I don't know. I think he belongs in D tier. I think he could start.
I think he's in C tier.
C tier. Wow.
I do.
No, I don't think he's in C tier.
You're
I think a
very
guy like Derek
disappointed.
Carr's in C tier.
No. I will not agree
Yes.
with Daniel Jones in a whole tier higher than Derek Carr. I will not agree.
Well, I think Daniel Jones belongs probably on the back end of tier B, and Derek Carr belongs on like the first.
Derek Carr, we're saying Derek Carr's a 79% and
Dude.
what's it called? Daniel Jones is an 80?
Yeah.
I can't agree with
I'm
that.
Matt, I'm so sorry that he's your guy right now because he wasn't good. He's not.
He wasn't good this past year. Like the best we've seen, he's fine.
Hey Matt, you want to know why? You want to know why Daniel Jones is a step further than Derek Carr? Because Daniel Jones has a playoff win. Move him back to C.
No.
Oh,
All right. I think
yes.
I think my local little league team could beat the Minnesota Vikings defense in the playoffs, but that's just me.
Again, we can adjust this list as it goes.
We'll take C.
This is where it gets.
This is polarizing. This
is where it gets interesting.
Okay, so if you're taking what he did in 2021 in accountability, I can't make that joke.
I mean,
on
we're
here.
taking 2021 accountability. I mean, get him out of here. He's a freaking get him here. Okay.
I'm not making that
Deshaun
joke on the
Watson
air.
for our audio listeners, by the way.
He's got to be C. He's got to be.
I think right now that's where he belongs, especially with his play. Not that we're taking contracts into account, but with his play, I think, C tier in his contract. That's about it. I think we can agree. Drew Lock.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I still can't get over this. I think Aaron Rodgers should be in B tier right now.
Really? I would take him next year as my quarterback over these two guys.
Yeah.
See, I think he's on the same scale as Dak. I really do right now.
I don't know. I saw what Dak did in the playoffs, and
dude, Aaron Rodgers was horrible this past season, man. Like, I understand that he was MVP, but because of how horrible that he was, I think that you should bump him down at least one.
Well, again, this is a mix of taking into account this year and then what he's going to do next year. Because I think in that offense next year, I'm not going to say he's going to be back to MVP form, but I think he's going to play.
I don't think that it's okay.
Though,
if we're going to talk if we're going to talk projections for Aaron Rodgers, then we're talking projections for Fields when it gets up here too. So keeping that in mind.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll keep that in mind. But I think Bears fans versus everyone else has a different mindset. I think we see our first S tier quarterback. I don't think anyone's debating this one. Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. Winston's a backup.
I mean, he is a backup. He's a backup.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what? Put Winston in D. He's earned it.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking Jameis Winston in D tier. He plays fine if he's not hurt, but he gets hurt a lot.
It's crazy the huge gap that we have between D and C, like where we rank them. Like,
yes,
I cannot
lower than Jared Goff. I can't.
Jared Goff this past season played.
Stop.
Well.
Because
I'm not.
I think this is his peak.
Yards.
Oh dear God! What he's gonna do with Jameson Williams is gonna be beautiful. Oh, I can't.
Dude,
wait.
I need it.
Dude, they're not gonna win the North. I have that take. I still have it built up. I don't think.
I know Bears all the way.
Yeah. So,
Bears take it.
I'm okay with B. Ryan and Matt, what's your opinion on Goff being at B?
That's cool.
I hate it, but if we 2 versus 1, then fair.
All right, this is where it gets interesting. What do we do with this class?
C tier.
I was thinking C as well. I'm glad that we.
Let's move him down. Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, Joe Burrow's S tier. We're
S
gonna
tier.
smack him
S, yeah.
in front of Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
I know. I don't know. I'm gonna put him in front of Jalen Hurts for sure. This is where it gets interesting. Josh Allen, I think we can say he's S tier. A little bit more on the edge than what I think the average casual fan thinks.
Dude, I turned into
he's
a
in front of
Josh
Hurts,
Allen
though?
hater. I turned into an absolute Josh Allen hater towards the end of the season, man.
So did I.
I mean,
So,
I'm almost willing to bump him down to A tier, but
no.
Again,
it just
given-
depends.
Are you taking Josh Allen over Rodgers?
Let's keep him in S for right now and see how many players we have in S tier. Because if
Okay.
it's just these three, then I feel comfortable with it.
I think there's one
let's
more
move
that
on to
deserves
this
to be
next
in
one.
Herbert's gonna be in it. Yeah, I'm gonna put Herbert in this.
Yeah.
But Fields, all right.
I think, yeah, all right. But Fields, yeah, let's move to this one because I've got a clear spot. I've got a clear spot in my head to where I think that he's earned it, but I also think if we're going off of projections, I know exactly where he should be.
I think if we're going off how he played last season, I think he belongs in C tier.
Yes.
Because he didn't produce as a passer, and that's just.
But are we
facts. I know
talking
he's good
about
on the ground, but
projections?
he wasn't a passer. I know, and that's why
It's a
him in B
combo of
tier.
everything, I think.
Yeah,
It's kind
and
of-
that's why exactly, and that's why I threw him in B tier because I think he's going to take the step up. And I think 2 years from now he'll probably be an A, but I think this year will be the first year we see him take a leap as a passer. But I don't think he's going to be quite there yet.
I need him in H tier for him. He is him. He is him.
Matt,
Yeah,
what do you
B
think
tier for
about
sure.
Yo, B tier. Wow, I thought you were going to try to make an argument for him in A.
No, I think Rodgers should be in B tier though. Like seriously, I think that. I mean, he's right
We'll
alongside.
get there once the
That's
list.
But
weird.
This
That's
is the first guy that I think is someone that we need to have an interesting conversation.
he's
about.
ass. He's ass.
I love
Yeah.
Herbert, but
he's the next
have we
Phillip
now
Rivers.
come down.
He's Phillip Rivers
Don't
without
say
the
that.
16
Don't
kids.
say that. But is it now? I know the national media loves to have the conversation about him being a top 5 quarterback in the league. I don't know if that's true. Are you guys okay with putting him at the
Is he
top
ass
of
if he
A
wins
tier?
the Jaguars game?
What?
No,
Is he ass if he wins the Jaguars game? Because
Um,
I feel like that is a lot of stink on him.
Yes.
I
yes.
feel like that's a lot. I think he's ass.
if he wins the Jaguars game, then Josh Allen's back in A, and Herbert takes S.
I agree. In a
I
big
think if
part
we're
of
already
him,
saying yes on that, he's ass.
I mean, it's a conversation we had about elite quarterbacks, but I think I need to see him win, and I understand he had injury, but QBs I think find a way to win. The best QBs find a way to win. Ryan, you're the split decision here, S or A?
Herbert, I think he's
Yeah.
an A. Yeah,
Okay.
A's perfect.
Again, I think we can revise this quarterback list as it goes on. This isn't the end all be all where we place him here. Pickett.
See,
Think there's a good
Yeah.
spot.
yeah,
Oh
Okay.
man, I think sure. Okay,
I liked him
fair
at the
enough.
end of the year when he won that Baltimore game. I
Dude,
really thought they were gonna make the
Yeah.
playoffs.
It's so weird, man, because C can be so diverse. Like, I think that I would
C, I
take
think
Carr. I would take Carr and Watson over Pickett. I would
Yeah.
even take Garoppolo over Pickett.
Really?
So I don't think that. Yeah, absolutely. Garoppolo can take a team to a Super Bowl. He's proven it.
No, Garoppolo's team can take him to a Super Bowl. There's a difference.
Dude, Garoppolo. He hasn't been horrible. I mean, he
No,
wasn't.
but he doesn't do much. I don't think he lets his players do it. He just distributes the ball, which
So-
isn't a bad thing, but
I guess the C tier then, from my understanding, is just these are quarterbacks that are just there. Like they're not really exceeding expectations, but they're also not failing horribly. It's just kind of
Well,
there.
I would say for the most part, yes, but then you get into the conversation about a guy like Deshaun Watson, because we expected him to be better and he wasn't. But I do think he's better than these guys, obviously, but I don't think he's as
Yeah.
good as these guys.
For right now, if we're talking about Watson too, because I know that you just brought it up, I think that he's C right now, but he has potential to be B. So like he's
Yeah.
very middle of the pack.
Yeah.
Yeah, just keep Kirk down there. That's
No,
fraud.
of Of course not. I think Kirk belongs in between Deshaun Watson and Carr. I think I'd take Carr over Kirk. I know people are big Kirk guys, and I'm a big proponent of Dak Prescott is just Kirk Cousins, but that's besides the point.
I
Do you
want
guys
to
think?
make a note personally,
Mhm.
really quick. Any comments and everything? If you are a person of larger scale, disregard like majority of my comments because it's been a long week and I'm very much off the hinges right now. So like as far as analysis goes, like I'm off the wall right now. So I'm
It's
just
okay.
saying.
I think that's a good spot for him. Do you guys want to move him up a tier, down a
He's
tier?
He's C.
All right. Do you think that's a good spot in C?
He's just there. Yeah.
It's just
He's just
it's
there.
hard. It's really hard to look at Kirk Cousins and Derek Carr below Daniel Jones and Jared Goff. That's just weird. It's just weird.
Yes.
I don't know if it's wrong per se because both of them were very good this year, but it's just weird to look at.
Yeah.
What are your guys' thoughts?
He's a B.
B, yeah.
I'm higher on Kyler than most people. I think he's a B plus.
Okay. B plus.
I think he's a
so
B
you think-
minus. I think he's a B minus.
I think he's somewhere in the middle. I think that's probably the best spot for him because I think I'd rather have him. I know. I'm sorry. I think right now that's where he belongs. Brian, don't chop my head off. Because I'd rather have him going in. I guess
He can throw
next season because he's not going to play. But yeah, he can
It's
throw.
okay. He's proven.
So.
It's fine.
That's
He's earned
right.
his money
I think
and
this
his double COD points.
I think this
That
is where the
much money.
conversation gets a little bit more interesting. I think he belongs in S tier, but
A.
I know some people do not.
A tier.
He's an A.
All right,
Yeah.
If Herbert's an A.
These two guys in between them?
Yeah, in between for sure. Honestly, I don't think that it matters positioning, just the tier, because like this isn't a ranking. You know what I mean?
This
I
isn't
don't
a
know.
1 through 32. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I think positioning is okay. What do you guys think about McCorkle Jones?
No.
D.
D.
Wow.
No. I know you're lower
He's
on
so
him,
replaceable. He's so replaceable, dude. How do you just bring in
Isn't Jimmy
Zappy and just him
Garoppolo,
put up
though?
even better?
And he's in
He's-
C.
Dude, he's absolutely below Jimmy Garoppolo. Don't give me that.
I disagree.
I'm just going
if
to
I'm
off
s-
the replaceable comment. I think both him and Garoppolo are like kind of the same.
Yeah.
I think
I can
Mac's
understand
shown
that
a
comment.
higher ceiling. I think his first year was very good.
Yeah.
Get
As
him
far as
D-Hop.
if I'm
He's gonna go crazy.
If I'm a head coach right now and I have both Mac Jones and Jimmy Garoppolo on my team and it's game day and I have to decide which one's starting,
Must win
Garoppolo
game.
10 times. Yeah, Garoppolo 10 times out of 10.
Well,
Oof.
yeah, but I wouldn't say I don't know. I think there's a discussion to have there.
There's
If you're
a
starting a
reason why.
franchise, if you're starting a franchise, who are you
You're going
gonna
with the younger quarterback for sure. But what I'm saying is though, if you in looking at this specifically, it's not if you're going to start a franchise, it's if you're going to
Yes.
compare the two, you need a win right now and you have these two guys. Who are you picking?
Well, yes. Well, it's more than that too, though. But I don't think he's on the same tier as Baker
As
Davis Mills or yeah.
I think that
That's
he's
kinda-
like a D plus, like a 68. That's the grade I would give him.
He's the sexiest D in the bunch.
Yeah.
Do you agree with
Obviously,
me,
Marcus
Matt? Hold on a
Mariota.
second.
Wait,
I think he's
Matt.
low end C. I
Okay.
think
Okay.
he's C.
Okay.
that's what I thought.
Just barely
Marcus
passes class.
Mariota, backup. No. All right. This
I
is where
love
it gets interesting.
I love Mariota
People
though. I would
won't-
love to just keep him. Like I know. I'm just saying.
Well,
I root for
he's
this
the
guy so
backup,
much.
but- Is it because of 2015 Oregon or 2014?
That was
That was like the
well,
first year I ever watched college football, and dude, that guy was insane. I am
Hold
still
on, wait a
like,
minute.
This is a
Can
big,
I ask a question really quick?
yeah.
Can we make another tier really quick? Because I believe there's
Yeah.
one guy that we still have yet to talk about that belongs in his own. I have no idea what this is. Outcast group.
Is it Trey Lance?
It's absolutely Trey Lance. You have
Yeah,
no
I'm
clue
on
what
the
this guy
same.
is right now.
Yeah.
You
I
cannot
don't
put
think
him.
we
Jordan
should-
Love in this? Because Jordan Love would be in that same tier.
Ritter's in this, but Jordan Love is not.
I would put Ritter in that.
Makes sense.
I mean, dude, I would almost, I would put Ritter in the same group. But what I'm saying is, though, like when we do get to Trey Lance, I mean, I guess you could just add it now. But I mean, he has potential and everything. But to put him over some quarterback that's already proven what they can do in the league or has been in the league for a while, it's just not fair to put him, say, over Davis Mills, who's actually done pretty solid in Houston, or Jameis Winston, who's had a pretty decent career, and Baker Mayfield, who's like super mid. Like Trey Lance is the biggest outcast question mark in the league right now. It's either Trey Lance's team or it's
well, I also think
the young kid's name is
Brock Purdy. I also think that there's another veteran quarterback that belongs in the I don't know tier, but we'll get to him. This though, I know people won't like it, but
it's Matt Ryan.
I think Matt Ryan deserves to be at the top of D tier.
That guy sucks.
I would not put him above Davis Mills, but I would definitely put him over Baker Mayfield. I don't think I would put him over Jameis either. So I would say if you're ordering it, if that matters to you, I'd say the order is Davis Mills, Jameis Winston, Matt Ryan, Baker Mayfield.
Wow.
Okay.
I can get behind that. You know, actually,
I'm saying Jameis over
Baker.
Yeah.
I'm not a Baker guy.
Guys, look,
really
I love Baker to death.
I
love Baker to death. I hope to God that he goes out and proves everybody wrong in Tampa. More power to him. He's a great guy. He does a lot of charity work, and he's very included in the fan experience. He was in Cleveland, especially. Great guy, and him and his wife as well. Hilarious on the podcast and commercials and stuff that he does as well. All power to him. I'm a big fan, but at the end of the day, I'm sorry, man. You're D tier, bottom tier.
I'm tempted to. I think he belongs here.
Yes.
I'm tempted to put him in B tier, but I'm not going to.
Guys, I think we need to spread C tier out a little bit.
He won a Super Bowl.
I understand, but we're doing it off of last season and going into now. It's not a career ranking. I mean, if it was a career ranking, he would probably be in S tier, but it's not.
I love Stafford.
In B, I was debating about putting him in B.
Dude, Stafford was not playing well. Yeah.
Or tendinitis, not tinnitus.
Can we put him in the question mark for if we're specifically doing what we're doing as far as projections in this season?
Sure.
I mean, he wasn't insanely great but he was also playing hurt. So
yes, I agrre. So
and they were around. Like when he was playing, the Rams were around. What, they were like 3-3 when he got hurt. Yeah, hurt really.
I don't think he belongs here. I think he belongs here or here, but. I mean,
that's fine.
if we all disagree, like
he's up there. He's up there with Kirk and Carr for sure. I say that he's over Carr and Kirk. I think Kirk's over.
That's
Carr,
what I'm saying. I think he's
I think Kirk's over.
It's
Carr
just the letter grade is what the.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, we can do that. All right. This when I said there was a vet that we needed to talk about that belongs in the question mark tier. This is the guy I was talking about.
Question mark.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm glad we all agree.
Yeah, I mean, if we were to
talking about Russell Wilson,
if we were to actually rank his last year's, I would say D for Dookie. Like straight up, he was garbage. But yeah, I mean, let's see what he can do with not Pete Carroll. I mean, clearly we already know Sean Payton.
I think I've had the same take on Russ. Is like. There's no way he's going to be as good as he once was, but there's no way he's this bad with Sean Payton. There's just no way.
All right.
I agree. I was a Russ hater.
Awful.
I was a Russ hater, and I agree with that.
I think we are very much overusing C tier. I think we should maybe.
I think there's just a lot of mid quarterbacks.
I agree. I'm with Matt on that one. I think there's a lot of mid quarterbacks.
I think that what we should do, though, just to make it a little bit more diverse and inclusive, I think that maybe we could add another one in like an.
I don't know. We've already added. We've already added 3 ones. I think this is fine, and I think these are the guys that you're like you probably don't draft someone in the first round to get rid of, but like these guys, you wouldn't. If you had the opportunity to trade for a Lamar, a Justin, a Josh Allen, you would do it, but you're not going to draft a dude in the first round. So I think I don't know. I think these guys are all mid-tier quarterbacks.
Okay, that's fair.
So, this is where it does get interesting, though.
Yeah,
this guy's in C too.
I know.
This guy's
that's what I'm saying.
In C.
Okay, I was thinking here, but we can put him in C.
Wow.
I'm thinking right in front of Kenny Pickett.
Really? Yeah. I think I'd take both these guys over him too.
No,
just me.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm sorry.
We'll put obviously him there.
Yeah,
I don't really want to rank Tom because he's not playing.
He's an A.
It's not. Yeah. Tom.
That's
Right. We can put him in A. We'll put him at the back end A.
I was interested to see him on this list just to see where everyone stood on him still, because that's interesting to see. The guy just retired and I still believe he's truly an A tier quarterback.
This is where I'd put him in A.
And it's just weird. Guy could have played till he's 50.
I think this guy shows that he deserves an A.
He's an A for sure.
Yeah. All right. A.
I would put him. Believe it or not, hot take. I would take him over Lamar right now.
Wow.
I don't think that's shocking.
That's close. It's close, but yeah. I see where the take comes from.
We're talking about Trevor Lawrence. I need to do a better job with that. We put Trevor Lawrence at the back, the
we
start.
Got a picture of this at the end.
Yes. So obviously we created this tier for this guy. He belongs in here, but also I wouldn't be surprised if this guy belongs in here too.
Nope, he's in B for me.
I don't know if he's going to play football though. I know he's going to be playing football, but I think with the concussions, with everything that happened last year,
in his head, he's playing baseball, man. This guy needs to just retire.
That's why I'm putting him there. But if you guys want to put him in B tier, we're talking about Tua. We quickly went over Trey Lance. We put him in the question mark tier. Made that tier for a reason. But where do you guys want to put Tua? I'm fine with keeping him here. If you guys want to put him in B, we can do that too.
I think question mark's fine.
All right.
Yeah.
Backup. I don't know. Can we get out of the league? Is that an option?
Back up. Yeah, he's back up.
Zach Wilson. I think we are all okay with putting Desmond Ridder in the question mark tier.
Yeah.
Yep. Probably right there with Taylor Heineke, or do we want to put him in the backup? Because I think I'd take Taylor Heineke over Baker Mayfield.
I don't know. He's at a place he's in Atlanta where I feel like he legitimately could pressure Desmond Ridder early.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I probably D, probably far D.
Taylor Heineke. Yeah. I'm
a
big
if
Heineke.
Jameis is D, then he's probably D.
Yeah. Obviously Andy Dalton is in the backup.
He's in D. This guy is the highest. He is the highest end. He's okay. Technically, right now he's not a backup because they don't have another quarterback, but they probably will get another quarterback. But he is the highest end backup in the league, in my opinion.
Wow, I would take Marcus Mariota. I would take Marcus Mariota over him as my backup. I would take. Probably take.
Did we watch the same Andy Dalton last year?
Dude, Andy Dalton threw for over 200 yards multiple times last year, bro. He wasn't awful. He was.
I don't.
Red Rocket was back and alive.
We can put him at D. I would rather have Mariota. Maybe that's because I have a type in quarterback. I would put Mariota, but if you guys want to put him back into D, that's okay. We're fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Geno Smith belongs in C tier.
This is just Eagles propaganda with Marcus Mariota.
C tier. I think he belongs in B tier.
B. He's higher than Daniel Jones, in my opinion.
Yes, I would rather have Daniel Jones over him.
Would you rather have Geno Smith over Kirk Cousins or Derek Carr, though?
Yes.
For next season, yes.
With my team being in the land of mid-tier quarterbacks, yes.
the two guys that I would have liked to see on this list that are not, I would have put Jordan Love in this range right here in the question mark, and then I probably would have put Minshew somewhere in the middle of D tier.
No, he's
God, I
backup.
love Minshew. Yeah.
Really, I would rather have Minshew than Andy Dalton.
He's the sexiest backup because he has charisma, but like, I don't know.
Dude,
For every tweet I see that's like, "Oh, we got to give Minshew a chance. We got to give him a shot." Like, I'm fine with it. I think there's 32 guys better. Where do you guys put Cam?
What?
Where do you put Cam? Because there's apparently not 32.
Out of the league, XFL tier.
Yeah, I don't know. That's wild.
How do we not talk about that? Cam through.
Yeah, how did we not talk about that? Yeah. So
can we talk about how horrible he did too?
Let's. All right. So just real quick, obviously Patrick Mahomes is his own little list tier. But if someone wants to take a picture of this nice little list, I'll leave it up for you guys.
Can you zoom it like back? Oh shit.
Sorry. No, that's the most I can get. Actually,
I was gonna see if we could get all of it. That's a post. Oh man.
Let me zoom in a little bit more.
Perfect.
Nice. All right. For those who don't know what Matt was talking about, Cam Newton came out and he was like, I don't want to spend too much time on this because we still have scouting I'd like to get into. But Cam Newton came out and he was like, there are not 32 guys in the NFL that are better than me. Blah, 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 blah. And so he tried out at Auburn's pro day yesterday, today. Can't remember. But Ryan said he didn't look too good, but he had some pretty beautiful throws. I don't know how his whole ones too. I don't know how his whole thing went, but I know he had some really good throws. I believe he's a backup quarterback in the league. I don't think he should start for any team.
There's where the issue is. It's the same thing as like the Kaepernick thing is like that guy is such a risk because I feel like he comes in immediately expecting to be a starter. So if he's not a starter, he's just mad. And like there's no reason to have him around because he's just going to be upset the entire time that he's not a starter. You know what I'm saying? Fair. Like I do think there's 32 guys better than him, but I don't think there's 40. Like
yeah.
That's probably my take on him. Like
dude, I would rather Mason Rudolph start for my team than Cam Newton.
That's crazy.
Wow. Yeah, no.
Did you not see the same Mason Rudolph almost win the last game for the Bears against the Vikings? And I understand they were a bottom 3 defense.
Oh, are you talking about?
But like
you're talking about Peterman. Okay.
Nathan Peterman. I'm sorry, not Mason Rudolph. Holy crap!
Yeah, not the one who got the
I'm sorry.
Cracked on his skull. Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Nathan Peterman over. Wow.
That's crazy.
Oh yep. Mason Peterman over Cam easily.
Okay, I don't know, man. I can't get there, but obviously you guys have seen the name of this show. It's time to get into the draft. I'd like to spend a little time on this, but I know we're already like an hour and 10 minutes into the podcast. I mean, if you guys have made it this far, remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. We'll respond to anyone. And honestly, I think we've gotten to the point, me and Ryan discussed it. If you guys leave a 5-star review, we'll shout you guys out on the podcast. So make sure you guys go and do that. That being said, you guys,
I forgot about that.
But you guys know what time it is.
Pro football isn't the only game in town. Let's take a stroll to Ben's College Corner.
Yes. So last week we had to cut this because
before we get into this really quick, I just want to say to everybody that has been listening to this, I just want to say thank you. This is a pretty crucial point of my week. This is something that I love to do. Matt, it's always good catching up with you and everything. Always love talking football with you, bro. So thanks again for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. Ben, you're always here for me and everything, man. Really appreciate it. I am going to run and get a shower really quick. It's been a really long day. This is normally the time in the show when I step out and kind of let Ben do his thing. Ben and Matt, they're probably the two most knowledgeable people that I know when it comes to college. They know about some top prospects from Texas, Western, Southern, A&M, Tech, Animal Hospital, that'll totally, make the NFL. Total diamond in the rough guys. But they will tell you exactly who to look out for and everything. And before they even make it, if you remember correctly, Ben and I, along with Coach Tyler as well, scouted out Jack Sanborn before he was even drafted or signed to the Bears. So keep a solid eye out on who these guys are going to talk to you guys about. They're going to do a fantastic job as they always do. But I am going to step out and hang around with the family before everybody goes to sleep. With that being said, I'm signing off for the week. I will see everybody next week. And then I'm assuming another mock draft is still coming out.
I was going to say one last
the end of the
question. Are you
night.
going to join us for that or?
Shoot me a text
Yeah,
when you
we'll
guys
see how it
start it,
goes.
and I will see.
Yep.
So, all
There
right.
you go, man. You have a good
I
night.
will see everybody next week. Take it easy.
All right, we'll remove him. But that being said, yeah, we were supposed to do this last week, but due to time constraints, we did not. I think this is the first defensive list that I'm doing for you guys, but it's linebackers. And like I said, so for over this, I'm gonna give my top like 5-ish linebackers. And then I have a guy, like I said, that I think can go 4th, 5th round that I always like to add for you guys. And like I've been doing with the whole, prospect breakdown, positional breakdown for you guys. One of the prospects I have on here will be the breakdown for the week. And then as I'm talking about it, Matt, feel free to jump in. But then once we're done with linebackers, doesn't have to be super long, but I thought you guys hear me enough talk about my list and my guys. I think it'd be fun to come back to Matt's guys and some guys Matt likes because like 2 weeks into the season, he said, I really like this kid named Zay Flowers out of Boston College. And now that was when he was like going like 3rd or 4th rounds in mocks. And now yeah, so it's wild. But I know this is where, even right off the bat here, this dude has been my linebacker one from the very beginning. He is still my linebacker one. I know he's not everyone's. I know some people have moved off of him for some reasons unbeknownst to me. But Trenton Simpson is my linebacker one, Clemson linebacker. He plays a lot of he's going to play a lot more of the star role. Think kind of like the Simmons, but less of a pass rusher and more of a safety and linebacker. But he can play both safety and linebacker. He has very good range. As I, if you guys couldn't have picked up on that, he has very good range when covering. And he is a really good finisher, and you can use him nicely as a blitzer. But because he plays that star role, as we've seen with Simmons, there's a fine line between being versatile and being positionless. So he has to be a scheme fit. And then he does probably need to add some pounds in the NFL. And I'd like to see his run fits a little bit better. But I'm still a big fan of him, and he's still my linebacker one. What do you think about Trenton Simpson?
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy who is he fits in that Isaiah Simmons mold of just super athlete. He's just not Isaiah Simmons type athlete, and that's why he's not going to go in the top 10 picks like Simmons did. I think he's pretty raw as a prospect. I think you're banking on the traits more than anything. I think he could be great in a 3-4 where you send him here and there, you send him at the quarterback, and I think he just needs to get smarter at the game with run fits and things like that. Very, very good athlete.
Yeah. I don't know if you have positional rankings, but linebacker 1 for you, linebacker 2 for you, or where does he fall in that for you?
It's I'll just make this clear, like off-ball linebacker, it's really rough in this class. if someone's taken an off-ball linebacker in the first 40 picks, I will probably critique them because I just don't like I don't think any of these guys are top 40. But Simpson's probably one. I'm gonna lean Drew Sanders probably as my one. I think
Yep.
Drew Sanders is the high motor athlete from Arkansas. Yeah, Arkansas.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Get
but yeah,
into
I
him.
mean, like you said, he's my linebacker too. Drew Sanders is great frame. He's 6'5", 232 pounds. And you said perfect for a 3-4 scheme for Trenton Simpson, where you can send him off the edge. It's funny that you say that because I think Drew Sanders is perfect for that. Someone who came to Alabama actually is their edge rusher, played the hopes were he'd play the Will Anderson-esque role, but obviously he plays linebacker now, and he's transitioned to that where he performed very well at Arkansas. And like Matt said, super athletic, very lengthy, has, I think, at least a decent floor. He's not going to come in and like bust and not play for you. I mean, he is a very, very good pass rusher. I mean, again, he got scouted to college for that. But just like Trenton Simpson on tape, you see some very subpar run fits, and I would like to see him develop a little bit better as a pass defender. So, linebacker 3. This is, I think 1, 2, and 3. We see people interchange a lot, and this is some dude that got a lot of hype 2 months ago. Calmed down a little bit, and then after the combine, that hype train started picking up again. And I'm talking about the absolute mammoth from Iowa that is Jack Campbell. He is also 6'5", but he weighs 11 more pounds than Drew Sanders, and 243 pounds. He's very smart. He's a guy that you can stick in the middle of your defense and say, just go and do what you need to do, clean up the play. Very smart, very good in between the tackles. He doesn't really show like he's going to be the best pass defender. I mean, he can do it, but he's not going to do it at a extremely high level. His range isn't there. I've seen him give up on plays for some reason. That happened actually a lot in the Michigan game, where he would just give up on plays, and then you'd see Blake Corum bounce it out exactly where Jack Campbell probably should have been. And for a guy that's 6'5", 243 pounds, I would have liked to see him shed his blocks a little bit better, but that's just like, they're small nitpicky things. What are your thoughts on Jack Campbell?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched too much of him, but there was a reason he was the Mike linebacker at Iowa. I think he being the senior leader on that defense, like it was still one of the best defenses, no matter how bad that offense was. They really only had one game that stood out to being bad, and that was the Ohio State game, and everyone looked bad against Ohio State. But yeah, I think he was someone that I didn't expect to test as well in Indy as he did. Like he tested upper percentiles of the class, and like I said, as I mentioned, this isn't a good off-ball linebacker class. So if you can build your stock through athleticism and have senior leadership, and you come in right away and be an instant starter in the 3rd round, which I think Jack Campbell has the capability to do. So, yeah, I would agree with you. He's probably my linebacker 3. I think we have Drew Sanders and Simpson flip-flopped, but I would agree Jack Campbell is probably my linebacker 3.
Yes. And again, you mentioned how well he did test at the combine. He tested 9.82 in height, and then 9.16 weight. Overall, his RAS score, for those who don't know, RAS is its relative athletic score. So that's just how well he tests versus all of the linebackers, I think, for like the last 30 years or something like that, 36 years. So it's not even just linebackers in his class. It's all the linebackers that have tested. And again, he ranked in the 9.61 percentile, 10 being the best. So 9.61 is very, very high. And then linebacker 4, which I was a dude that I was really hoping to have a better combine. I thought he was going to run better. And I know people aren't as high on him as number 4. And honestly, I could have interchanged linebacker 4 and 5 because I'm really big on linebacker 5 as well. But number 4, I have Dan Henley out of Washington State. Yeah, Washington State. He's a small dude. He's a dude who went to I don't know if it was Nevada or Utah State. They tripped me up. I think it was Nevada though. And he went to Nevada and he started off as a wide receiver and kick and punt returner, and then switched to cornerback and safety, and then finally switched to his linebacker position where he played 1 year at Nevada, then transferred to Washington State. And if you guys couldn't tell by just that background, dude's an amazing athlete. And because of that, I mean, he can cover well, and his cornerback background kind of shines through. So he has that high upside as a cover linebacker. And honestly, when I saw him, which I haven't seen much of, his ability to fill the run actually shocked me. You think of coverage linebackers and you don't usually think someone who can fill the run, but he fills the run better than what I would have thought. But honestly, you probably don't want to play him at stack backer right away. That's the reason I don't have him as high. But I'm a big fan of Henley, and I know I'm probably higher on him than what the consensus is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm scrolling through different big boards, and I see PFF has him at 37 as linebacker 1, which is crazy because I just wanted to find his weight, and yeah, 6'2", 225. Dan Henley is the prototypical linebacker. I think the way is kind of the linebacker the way the NFL is going to transition towards is kind of that hybrid JOK and things like that. Those guys who have the corner safety experience who are coming down into the box so you can play those lighter nickel packages, which is what the NFL is playing. 3-4-4-3 is it's outdated. It's really you're playing nickel whether you're rushing with 3 or rushing with 4, whether you have 4 down linemen or 3. And Dan Henley is just the prototypical size, athleticism, and speed to be that linebacker. And I don't think he's a Mike per se, but I think he could be definitely a strong side backer. Maybe not instant day one, but I think he is the way the NFL is going personally. It's kind of a little smaller than we thought, but it's if you want to play those lighter packages, I think you're going to have to do that.
Yeah. And I also realized that I have been using the word stack backer, and people listening might not know exactly what that means. That's more of a linebacker that you want to use more in the run fit situation, someone more Jack Campbell-esque, that you stack him directly behind whatever your defensive line is, and you put him, 3 or 4 or 5 yards right behind what that defensive line is, whether it's, a 3-tech defensive lineman, or something like that, but it's someone that stacks right behind him and is going to play more of the run fits than he does passing and stuff. So when you hear me say, he's a stack backer or not, it's a little bit more. And then the guy I have 5 that I said you could probably interchange with him, and I quite literally mean that. I'm a very, very big fan of him, which I'm not as surprised that these guys are right next to each other because they come from the same background. That's DeMarvion Overshown. But like I said, he's going to be my prospect breakdown. I'm sure Matt knows a thing or two about him, but we'll get there. I have one last guy for you guys to talk about. Again, I try to give you guys someone in the 4th, 5th round to look out for. Is Owen Popo from Auburn. I was a big fan of him last year. I was really, really, really hoping he was going to come out last year. But he is small. I think he's only 6 foot. But I think people at Auburn call him, I think it's the Beast or the Menace or something like that. Dude tests very well. And on tape, he shows he has good range. I don't know if he has that, but he is that leader or he was at least that leader of the Auburn defense. Like I said, he's undersized. He needs to do better shedding blockers. And he has a pretty bad missed tackle rate, but I just think it's a matter of a dude that has the leadership upside and a dude who tested very, very well. I don't know how much you know about him. I don't know how much you've watched about him, But while you talk about him, I'm actually going to look up what his RAS was.
Yeah, I mean, fourth year senior for Texas. He was.
Oh, I'm talking about Popo right now.
Oh, Popo. Okay.
Yes.
Owen Popo. I really don't know much about him. I'll say that. He's kind of. He tested pretty well. Like I know that I've kind of had him in the third, fourth round
Mm-hmm.
the entire way. I don't think that his tape is going to explode on you. That he deserves to be really any higher than that. But again, kind of like Henley. But the difference is that I feel like Henley's play strength. He just seems stronger than Popo, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so I think that there is a difference in that, but I think Popo is again like another guy who's kind of I don't know his exact size. I could find it right now, but he's kind of in that same mold of this is where the NFL is going with size per se.
Mm-hmm.
He's 6 foot. Yeah, he's 225 also, and like I running in the 4.3s as a linebacker is pretty impressive. So it definitely makes you circle, but I don't know. I think being very, very small and not as it's instinctive.
Exactly. Yeah.
With, like, there's another guy who's really small who is instinctive that I really like. But
yeah, and we'll get to a guy that I would, which I think I know who you're leaning towards a little bit, but there's one guy that has really taken quite the fall from grace, at least in this linebacker class, which we'll talk about just right after we do the prospect breakdown, which we're going to get into right now for you guys. DeMarvion Overshone, and I really had to sneak Popo in there just because I'm sure you remember, but last year those were my two big crushes at the linebacker position. So I'm very, very happy I get to talk about Overshone now this year. Some dude who's big, well, not big, he's tall, 6'4". His weight, I would have liked to see him get up a little bit more. They have him listed at 224. I don't know if that was the Texas number, if that was the combine number. Yeah, 6 foot, 224. He's kind of small. And just like Henley, like I said, these guys are interchangeable. He actually got recruited to Texas as a safety. I don't know if he ever played safety. I know, but I didn't. I do know he got recruited to Texas as a safety. So he has decent range there. And honestly, the thing that surprised me the most about watching him was man's an aggressive tackler. He's an inconsistent tackler, but I mean, if he has an open lane, he's gonna come down and he's gonna.
He got better with time.
Hard, did he?
He was a very good tackle this year. He was. You saw him a lot coming in, whether it to be the second man or to be the third man. He was the one who was coming in to hit you, to make you get on your butt. So he was very good this year.
Nice. But yeah, like again, like as I read you guys, he's 6'4", and with that is very, very good length. And he has really good speed. I'll have to see exactly what his testing numbers are. But his speed too, something that I saw, where his run fits like sideline to sideline, and being able to make some really nice sideline tackles in the run game when a running back tries to bounce it out, kind of is really good at meeting him there at the line of scrimmage, or around the 1 or 2 yard gain. Like I said, the con that I had for him was a little bit of the inconsistent tackling, but you kind of said that he got better at that, which is something you absolutely like to see. But then also I would just he needs more time. Like I said, he was not a natural linebacker. He wasn't someone who has played the linebacker position forever. He's came from the safety position. But that's something that can be fixed here in the NFL. I'm a big guy on him. He's a guy that's on my guy list. I would absolutely take him in the 3rd round, but I know a lot of people wouldn't. But I think if you can get him in the right room, I would love to see him go to the Texans and get in the room with D'Amico Ryan. and see what D'Amico Ryan can do with an athlete like this guy. Put an extra, 10 pounds on him, and D'Amico Ryan saying go and run. But again, like I said, came from Texas. Matt, you're probably the biggest Texas fan I know. Tell the listeners a little bit more about Overshown.
Yeah, Overshown, as a junior, he wasn't as good, I'll just say, and Texas last year wasn't as good. But it was good to see him come back to school for a senior year, just to be able to kind of fluff up everything. I feel like that he was in the land of, like, he had a 20% missed tackle rate all 3 years going into this last year, posted a 13% this year. So there's that. The percentages are telling you he's getting better at the tackle. And like, it's college, so I feel like these guys are definitely going to be able to get into NFL weight rooms and go, DeMarvian, go put on 10 pounds of muscle. Let's see, can you retain your speed at this size? Let's see. And I think he's a guy who definitely can. He's a legit 4'4", 4'5" guy. And maybe and he's a little slight, but like I said, if you beef him up 10, 15 pounds, you got a guy with great size at the linebacker position, 6'4", 235 to 240. That's kind of where you want to be in the NFL. So yeah, he's a long dude.
Yeah.
But like, as far as like just watching him every snap, like I can't give you a full breakdown, but like you see number 0 running around, you go, yep, that guy's making plays. I can tell. Like,
it's hard to miss him with all of his armbands.
Yeah, definitely got a look.
Yeah. So, and yeah, like we said, he's a good tester. He tested the 94th percentile of all linebackers. But like I said, a linebacker that I think had a fall from grace a little bit, a dude that we thought going into the year maybe could have been LB1. And I think a guy that you were mentioning, or maybe the guy that you were talking about when we talked about Papel was Noah Sewell. Yeah. He just had a fall from grace. I need to watch his tape, and I haven't. The reason he got left off this list is just because I know national media isn't as high on him anymore. I haven't watched him, so I can't say much about him. And I mean, again, national media is wrong a lot of the time, so I very well could watch his tape and be like, wow, this guy's good. But I'm not he was left off the list. So was that who you were referring to when you said a little bit of an undersized linebacker?
Yeah.
So I don't know. He's had a bit of a fall from grace. I mean, do you want to talk to people about him, or?
I wish he went back to school, man. I do. I think, he's very young and he's raw and he's just not as athletic as everyone else. Like there it is. I think that's why you're not going to see him in the ranges of these guys. I think he tested fine, just, looking at his advanced stats, like he had a 12% missed tackle rate. Like that's not bad, but
No.
It's just compared to everyone else, when your tape isn't flashy, when your tape isn't crazy, and you're not testing in 94th percentile, like you just mentioned with Overshown, and like Owen Papot, who's running in the 4.3s, and Drew Sanders, who's 6'5" and can do anything you want on a football field. It's just, you're just not going to get drafted as high, even though he has the Sewell name tag, So yeah, he was a guy who I really did think he was going to be LB1 before the season. And I think a lot of people did, but just didn't progress as everyone expected. So that's really it.
Yep. I think that's it. And then to just round this out really quickly, what are some names of prospects that you really like, that you're higher on than the rest, than like national media and other scouts?
All right. Let's pull out the old notes app. Let's just run through the guys I just have, just guys I'm in on, and I've just been putting new names on here. Number one, and it's been the same. It's been Zay Flowers. I think I've talked about Zay Flowers. I think, and he also put on 13 pounds of lean muscle. So he's about 5'10", 183, and a lot of people are going to go, that's scary. But then you watch him and you go, that guy really wins at the catch point. That guy really is twitchy at the top of routes. Man, when you get the ball in his hands, that guy is fast. And it's just, he pops every single time he's doing anything. And that's how it was for me when I watched one game of Boston College. I'm going, I need to see more of number 4. And then I'd turn on, I'd watch some highlights of number 4 before really you can dig into anything more. And that guy is just keep going, keep going, keep going. And so that's why I'm still high on Zay Flowers. I've said he's wide receiver 1. He probably is to me. It's hard because he is undersized, and you got guys like Quentin Johnston, who's 6'4", and JSN, who is going to come in and be an instant success, and Jordan Addison, who can fly down the football field somehow, even though like the 40-yard dash doesn't say he does, but he will find a way to get open downfield. But Zay Flowers is absolutely a guy I am locking in the first round, as well as this next guy I am locking in the first round, and that's Will McDonald. Will McDonald, God, he played at such a rough situation for him. Who was the guy? I cannot pronounce his name. He got drafted by the Broncos. I liked him out of Iowa State. I can't think of him, but he was a bigger D tackle. Like, he was D tackle size, like 6'5", 6'6", or like 300, something like that. And I liked him, and it worked for him in a 3-5 scheme. Will McDonald is 100 pounds lighter, about 100 pounds lighter, and it just didn't make sense for him to be that. And when you finally got to see him just pin his ears back and just go, he got to the quarterback. And in the NFL in January, you want guys who's going to protect the quarterback and who's going to get to the quarterback. Do I think he's an every down player right now? No. He's not a great run stopper, but he has experience in it. That's more than some other guys. And he has this pin his ears back mentality, and I love guys who have a move. And when you watch him, you see him spin and you see him win, and it's pretty cool. So, been high on Will McDonald. I'm going to continue to be high on Will McDonald. Jaden Reed, I've talked about.
By the way.
Ozer, yeah, that makes sense. I don't know why I was thinking Osa Digizua. I know that's wrong. That's Cowboys, I think. So, next guy, Jaden Reed. I've talked about Jaden Reed. He's just my day 2. Throw the dart at the wall, see what sticks. I think he's a guy. He's not the 90th percentile athlete, but he's a very good athlete, and he gets open downfield. And I would rather take him in the 3rd than Addison in the 1st, and like, maybe that's a wild take, but I think I'm getting more. I think I could get more long term out of him because he's 20 pounds heavier than him, and he's the same height. So, just classic Z receiver. Let him go. Next, Tyree Stevenson. I've had this list since Senior Bowl, so I remember I watched him. Like, he gets lost in this CB class because it's so good. Joey Porter, Christian Gonzalez, and who am I missing? Devon Witherspoon, of course. Like, he gets lost, and he's probably a 2nd-round guy, but he's someone who can come in and immediately play. And he's a gamer. When you watch him at the Senior Bowl, go watch some of those one-on-ones. He's attacking you, and that not a lot of guys were like ready to be attacked on the receiver end. So him being able to answer that.
The question I had for you about him, would you take him over Deonte Banks out of Maryland?
Well, I have Deonte Banks on this list, and no.
Well, there you go. Oh no.
No. Next we get into Zach Charbonnet. Zach Charbonnet, just tackle breaking back. I love it. I love a guy who is just going to hit the holes and break the tackles and keep moving forward. I don't need a home run threat. I don't. It's why, like, I'm always going to value the guys who are going to get 6 or 7 yards consistently than the guy who is going to go 3, 4, 0, 50. And then you're like, oh, whoa, I like Devon A-Chain. He's cool, but I'm going to take Charbonnet every time.
I got a pro comp for you. What I watched when I watched Charbonnet, this is so wild. But I'm sure once I say it, you'll be like, yeah, it makes sense. When I watch him, I see a combination of two guys, ironically, both two rookies from this past year's class. When I watch him, I'm like, it is like Brian Robinson and Dameon Pierce had a baby, and that is Zach Charbonnet.
I mean, that's pretty good. I haven't thought about that. Yeah, I mean, he's got the Brian Robinson size with the somewhat agility and tackle breaking of Dameon Pierce. Like he's not going to kill you with athleticism, but he's just got the best tape, and he's going to consistently move forward, which you want out of the running back. Next, I have Keanu Benton. Another guy who just flashed at the Senior Bowl, and I think he's a guy who he comes in and immediately is probably, day 2, early day 3, I think is where he's going to fall. I don't think the NFL is going to see him as the consensus media kind of sees him, but he's a guy who's going to come in and instantly be a good run stopper. I think there's an opportunity and a path where he gets better as a pass rusher, but I don't know if he's a down-to-down great pass rusher, but I think just being able to be a guy who can come in a light box and be a good run defender is valuable to someone. Someone's going to find the value in it. Next, I have Matthew Bergeron, O-lineman out of Syracuse.
Yep.
Wow. Again, just a guy I liked at the Senior Bowl. He was cool in person. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know much about O-line techniques to really go crazy on him, but I think he's a guy that I'm willing to take a day 2 flyer on. He was kind of like, who did the Cardinals took a few years ago? Josh Jones. Yeah. He kind of reminds me of that guy. Just being agile at tackle. I want a guy who's going to be agile, and I think he has a lot less concerns than a Blake Freeland out of BYU. So I think he's got more, pop on film than that guy does. Next, center, John Michael Schmitz.
Yes.
He's instant. Yeah. He's going to be an instant starter for someone. Someone's going to value him in the second round, and he's going to come in and be an instant success because all anyone talks about with him is just wait till he comes out. Well, he's coming out. What was he?
I wish
he a sixth year senior.
Yeah, he was a 6th year.
Him and Tanner Morgan finally coming into an adulthood. But
yes,
he's very good.
Yes, I big fan of John Michael Schmitz. I wish that we would have, as much as I love beef Jergens. I wish we would have, and it has to do with Kelsey too coming back. But I wish we would have took Brisker and gotten Schmitz this year. I'm a big fan of Schmitz.
That would have been pretty good. Maybe don't get the interception production that CJ got, but I get where you're coming from because I think John Michael Schmitz as a prospect is so just crafted and molded already. Like you know how we use the phrase ball of clay in the draft community? He's not. You know what you're getting, and you're getting a damn good player. Yes. So that's where I fall on him. Next, cornerback Deonte Banks. Tested incredibly. Ran in the 4.35s, jumped I think 40 inches. And he's not small. He's not like, I was big on Clark Phillips, and then you just realize this guy just doesn't win at the catch point. And Deonte Banks has the size to be able to win at the catch point. He's instinctive. I haven't seen much of him playing the run, but that maybe is just me not seeing enough of film to make a statement on that. But very, very high athletic percentile at corner, which I'm willing to take a shot on. even if it is a very high pick in the first round. Next, I have two safeties, two kind of, I don't want to say opposite, but Brian Branch is a guy we've definitely talked about. He's a guy who's just going to be, there was a reason he was in the role he was at Alabama. This guy is a top 15 prospect. He's going to go in the top 15, in my opinion. Someone's going to value him. It's 10th like overall. 10th overall. I could see it. I could see it. I think if he comes in and instantly fills a need, and he's very smart, very instinctive, and plays the run, can cover any receiver you put on him. Yeah, he is slow in the 40-yard dash, but you see him in pads. Like, unless you're telling him to go guard Jalen Hyatt, he was fine on film. And no one could guard Jalen Hyatt in that game because Nick Saban is so stubborn. But the next guy I had is out of Illinois. I feel like everyone is talking about this guy. Maybe I'm just late to the party, but Jartavis Martin. Just another guy in that secondary. Like, I go back and I watch some of that, 2022 or 2021 Illinois, like with Sidney Brown and Jartavis Martin and Devon Witherspoon. And who'd they have they had someone who got drafted last year. I feel like I'm missing some, like,
I don't know about last year, but I know Witherspoon and Hobbs played on the same team in 2021 or something like that.
Yeah. I'm blanking on a name, but I'll find it. But yeah, I mean, Jartavis Martin, again, just a guy who's super, super athlete, and he's just a long dude. Like, he is. And so I just see a world where someone is definitely going to value that and take a shot on him. And I want to see it work out if he gets into the right place. And then the last guy I found last week, because I just saw his athletic testing. I just, like, at MSU's Pro Day, I feel like you know who I'm talking about. Ben Van Sumeren. I don't know much about you, but I'm gonna pull up my photos real quick, and I'm gonna find the
Kirby Joseph.
Yeah, there it is. Thank you. This is a tweet from a known draft analyst. Michigan State linebacker Ben Van Sumeren has created quite the buzz with his freakishly athletic pro day performance. Here's the thread. 6'1", 237. He ran in the 4.3s. He jumped 42.5 vert, and he had almost 30 reps. He had 29 reps. That's insane. That's ridiculous, and that's my third-round guy. I want a guy to, go be a super athlete on special teams, and you'll start gaining the depth chart just being being a high motor guy.
Jack Sanborn.
I'm so willing to take a shot on that guy if that guy is just a super athlete. And but that's it. That's from all my guys. Just ran through them. I feel like I just rambled for 10 minutes, but now you know more about my list. So my way of thinking.
The two guys, I've heard my list, and you guys will hear my list 10,000 more times throughout this process, so I will save you guys the time. But the two guys I would like to just add, I'm going to drive myself crazy. The kid from Bowling Green, D tackle, D end, defensive lineman from not Bowling Green. Carl Brooks, that's his name.
Yeah, are we talking about Carl Brooks? Okay.
Yes, big fan of Carl Brooks. And then the other one, like a wide receiver that I'm a very big fan of, that I don't think gets talked about enough. And I think, like, if you're a team late in day 4, so 5th, 6th round. Let me look up the exact height of this guy. But another Maryland kid, Rakeem Jarrett, 6 foot, and he was a 5-star coming out. He had like offers from everyone. He had offers from Clemson, offers from Alabama, He almost went to Michigan. He almost went to OSU. He had family stuff, so he stayed at Maryland, which didn't work out too well for him. But I just think he's like one of those dudes who's 6 foot. I wish we would have been able to see his. Let me see if I can find his testing number real quick. 4.44, which is good, solid. I just think that shows you exactly the guy that he is. He's just a dude who's going to get the job done. I think if you want to draft a wide receiver 3/4, somebody that's going to come in and just do everything for you, I think he's the dude to do it. But just to hop off of that, we got one more thing for you guys, and then we're going to wrap this up. Your guys' favorite segment.
It's time for America's favorite game, Weddle.
Well, hopefully I can win. But we'll let the guests start here again. For those who don't know, we help each other out in round 1, and round 2 is where it actually matters. I think I'm up like by 6 or 7 against Ryan. And I also think every single time Matt has come on, he has won. So good job, Matt.
Yeah. I remember there was one time it was just me and Ryan, and we got stumped by, I think it was Brian Edwards on the Falcons. So I'm not undefeated.
I like Brian. I liked Brian Edwards coming out of college too, South Carolina wide receiver.
Yeah, I remember we just kept guessing Atlanta receivers, and neither one of us had any idea he was on Atlanta.
Yeah, I know that I do. But.
So we're gonna start. I see his name, so we're gonna start with the guy in the news, Aaron Rodgers.
There you go. Why did it? Thanks.
Oh, we got it right.
No. Woo. All right, not Aaron Rodgers. He's 6'2", definitely younger than 39 years old, and plays in the NFC. We'll do a dude that's just right here. I think he's too short. He is too short. But he's not a wide receiver. He's not a quarterback. So I'm pretty sure easy mode is just quarterback, wide receiver, and running back. But it could be a tight end. But I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure it's one of those.
So older than 25. Significantly higher number, 6'2". In the West, I'm going to go Kittle. It's George Kittle. I think tight ends are in this.
Oh, yes, it does. This is who I thought it was. Let's see. See if. No.
Oh, you thought AFC.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I thought. Yeah.
NFC. So it's NFC South.
Yeah.
Well,
if anyone knows that division.
Oh, Patterson. It has to be Patterson because 85.
Definitely has to be. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Sweet.
There you go. Oh, it's kicked. There it is. Woo!
Nice. Let's go
team. All right. This is where we stop helping each other out, and let's hope one of us can get it. Do you want me to go first? Or you want to go first?
I want to go first. Let's start this the only way I know how. Let's start it with my quarterback, Derek Carr. Let's go.
As soon as you said, AFC 6'3", plays offense. I dread the days that it's special teams. Not the special teams doesn't matter because it does, but who knows the second string kicker for the Panthers? I know it's not. I should probably. I don't want to do that. It's a waste of a guess there. For some reason, I thought he was still at the Bengals. I don't know why I did that.
He's retired now.
Yeah.
Is Julio retired or is Julio still balling?
Julio was balling this season. I don't know if he's retired now though.
Okay.
I feel like we
would
would
have lumped them together because of that draft.
Yeah. I want to say it's one of the tall guys that was drafted recently.
Did you go mute?
I don't know why that happened.
Okay.
I wanted to go Miles Boykins, but I didn't realize he was no longer in the league anymore.
You're going very obscure here.
Well, I see that, and I was like 6'3", AFC. I think someone it could be. I don't think it's this guy, but we'll stick with the same team.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, I think I know it. Oh no, age don't match up. I don't think. You would have been
Njoku?
disappointed in me. It was Dan Arnold last week, and I
Hey.
couldn't
Same
have told you.
guy.
I was like, yeah.
Njoku. If it's not Njoku, then it's probably the other guy. Yeah. Shame.
Wow, younger too. He's 25.
I mean,
Okay.
does he? I think.
He's
I
maybe
don't
with
know
the
what number.
Bengals.
I don't know what number he wears, so I really don't.
I think the age.
Yeah.
What?
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
I don't think I
So
want
he's
to
25. Okay, wait. He's 25.
I wanted to say it was Hurst, but Hurst is way the thing with Hurst coming out was he was older. It's not I don't think it's Hurst. I think Hurst
He's not in the division anymore. It has to be a Bengal.
He wasn't in the division anymore? Oh, I know who it is.
I don't. Oh man. All right.
I think I know who it is. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's no longer with this team, but I think I know who it is.
Tight end. Oof. I got like a minute.
Yeah. No, you're good. You take your time. I think I know at one point he played for the Bengals. I don't know if he plays for Bengals anywhere. Ooh. I don't think he plays for Bengals.
I'm just thinking of guys Joe Burrow threw the ball to in the playoffs. Like, I'm only coming up on Hurst as the tight end. I don't remember anyone else.
Can I take it?
Yeah, I mean, take your shot. Yeah, that's a yep.
Oh, what?
Let's go. Okay. Was he Tulane? Am I crazy?
I thought I had that.
Yeah, he was. Oh man. When you type that out. Oh man, this is one of the positions I want the Cincinnati to draft because it's so weak. Just put Hurst. I want to see what Hurst is. I think
Hurst is 27.
Yeah, there's no way it's Hurst, but in my head, I need to get rid of him. Okay, they have him at Carolina. Okay, I was just making sure. 29.
Okay.
Jeez, old dude. Man.
Wow, he's 29. I thought he was 27. Wow.
Who's
This
catching
is
balls?
Stinker, dude. I thought for sure it was Drew Sample. Oh.
Who's blocking for him? I'm trying to just running through. Uzoma's in New York.
Yeah, he's a Jet.
Hurst left already.
Sample.
I mean, this just shows you how much they need to draft a tight end.
This is the most obscure stuff too. They're like, give me a third tight end for the Bengals. All right. Have you thrown in the flag?
Probably, yeah. Yeah.
All right.
You're so close. What? He's 6'3". He's 25. It's not greened out, but we know it. He's 25.
Okay. Well, you know what we'll do? We won't count it. We'll count it as a loss for me. But but there's a chance that it doesn't have to be it won't be a win for you anymore. But I'll tell you. Okay, there's no way you can. Okay, never mind. I mean, maybe you'll get it, but I doubt it. He was originally drafted to New England in the 2020 draft in the 3rd round with pick 91 and went to UCLA. He had a whopping 2 receptions this year for 5 yards.
What? You said New England?
He was originally drafted to New England.
Oh, that was the year they drafted like 2 or 3 tight ends. Oh,
Yeah.
dude, who is it?
He did not play last year. He played in 2020. He played in 2022 with New England. I don't know if he got traded or what happened, but then he got I don't know if he got traded or something, but then he's now a Bengal. He played in 12 games this year.
What?
His name starts with a D.
Last name?
Last name starts with an A. I would like to consider myself someone who's knowledgeable about draft prospects. I see he was drafted in 2022 and I don't even remember him.
Wait, what'd you say the college was?
UCLA.
Oh, it's like a weird Asi, something like that.
Devin Asiasi.
Yeah. All right. How did he end up on the Bengals? I have no idea.
So we will chalk it up as a loss for me and a not loss for Matt. But thank you guys for watching. Most of the views we will get on the next episode, I will say all of the views we get on the next episode will be on playback. But if you watch live, thank you very much. You are listening back to this, whether that's on Google, Spotify, pretty much anything, anywhere you watch your podcast. Thank you for sticking around for 2 hours and listening to our nonsense. That being said, we do have a mock draft to come out alongside this one. So go and listen to that if you guys are listening back to this one. Matt, thank you so much. Always appreciate you coming on. Final thoughts before I close this thing out.
Had a blast. I'm excited to get into this mock draft with you.
Woo.
I'll just say that. We got, what is it, T-minus less than 40 days? We're approaching 30 really fast.
Wild. Yeah. I might have to start doing what I did. I might have to start down the countdown. I think last year I started the countdown like super early. I think it was like 75 days when I counted it down with you. That was bad. Every day for those, it's a bit of an inside joke, but every day I'd text Matt 75 days, 74 days, a week, whatever, so on. But anyways, if you guys liked what we said, make sure you follow the podcast on Twitter and TikTok. You guys can find me on Twitter. You can find Ryan on Twitter. You can find Matt on Twitter at Hartmen NFL.
Hart NFL, yes.
That's what it is. So if you guys liked what he said, go give him a follow on Twitter. And like I said, thank you guys for sticking around for 2 hours and 3 minutes. Make sure you guys give Overtime Podcast a big thanks. Uppercuts Grooming, Anchor. I think those are the 3, but I could be wrong. And if I'm missing one of our sponsors, sorry, Matt usually does this, and we appreciate you guys all. And we will see you guys next week.